records have been set this fall in a one-of-a-kind Minnesota marathon. The Ely Canoe Portaging Marathon saw records set in both the men's and women's divisions. Boyd Huppert first reported on the marathon 6 years ago. We will introduce you to this year's winners in a moment, but first, a look back at a uniquely Minnesota event.
In Ely, Minnesota, rivers race, while canoes are known for a more peaceful pace.
There's not much I don't like about canoeing.
That's Dan Dramel in the stern and girlfriend Abby Dare up front.
It's empowering.
Both native Twin Cityans who've embraced Ely's canoe culture. Ely wears canoes as proudly as prom queens wear tiaras, which brings us to Ely's Nirvana, the day each fall when the nature of canoeing in Ely
Morning, how you doing?
gets flipped on its head.
We're glad you're here for the 4th annual Ely Full Marathon.
The world's only marathon with the canoe portaging division.
It's a little nuts.
I want to do it just to find out if I can, just to see if it's possible.
Dan Dramel is now just a mile or two into a race in which he will shoulder a 35-pound canoe more than 26 miles.
We think it's crazy.
The craziness started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When Dan and Abby asked the race director if they could run the marathon taking turns portaging their canoe for fun.
We were like, well, why not?
Inspired herself the same year, Lynanne Vesper crashed the half marathon on her own.
It was really a personal challenge at the time.
Tradition born.
I do a lot of canoe camping up here, and this is just the ultimate portage.
Brian Bittner is among a dozen runners
My show wasn't feeling pretty good.
now competing officially in either the full or half marathon canoe portaging divisions.
My first half marathon, not my first time portaging a canoe.
Dana Gilbertson is running too.
This is go Dana.
Navigating one of America's most scenic marathon courses.
And I can't see it. I haven't seen a bit of it. Just the front of a canoe.
Way to go. Keep it up. You got this. Nice job.
Dan Dramel, meantime, is nearing the halfway point of the full marathon.
He definitely wants to win. That's a huge driving force for him.
I think it's just about learning what I can do and pushing my own limits and finding out what the next thing is.
Number 689, Dana Gilbertson.
Dana Gilbertson and her throbbing back approach the end of the half marathon. The top female finisher.
That's exactly what I expected. Absolutely miserable, type 2 fun.
Truest Minnesotan thing you could think of is to carry a canoe for a whole marathon.
Then, fighting the wind and more than 5 hours of a canoe paddling him.
Definitely in pain.
Good work, Dan.
Number 142.
Dan Dramel
With a canoe on his back.
powers himself to first place
Dan Dremel.
in the canoe portaging full marathon.
Man can do anything. He'd probably do it again.
No, I'm done. I'm ready to be done until next year.
A town where canoes are king now has its crowning achievement.
Oh, this is so easy.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Boyd Huppert, KARE 11 News, Ely.
Some people are just built different. 6 years after that story first aired, there are two new winners, both with record-setting finishes. Drew Boyson of Iowa City, Iowa, set a new record in the men's division with a time of 4 hours and 11 minutes. Victoria Ranwa of Shakopee now owns the record in the women's division, finishing at just over 5 hours and 25 minutes. For breaking the records, they each took home a $5,000 prize that will be spent on chiropractic,
potentially,
and
a
physical
massage.
therapy.
And let's hope that those canoes over those 5 years have gotten lighter.
But that wind,
With the lighter, they're like, yeah.
that was such a good point Boyd made. He's like trying to navigate. God bless.
And I
That's
haven't seen
impressive.
a thing. I haven't seen a thing.
I
Boyd,
mean,
he
a
said.
marathon in itself is so impressive, but now
Just
put 35 pounds of
The
long...
visuals were amazing. Oh my gosh.
Fun.
I had never seen that story before. I love all of these stories as we've been able to see them and get the updates, but I hadn't seen that one before. That was awesome.